In your testimony, you detailed the issues your company and others are experiencing with counterfeit goods in the supply chain. What sort of impacts, either quantitative or qualitative, has this had on your business and on your customers?
Well, on our business, it certainly affects us on the order of millions of dollars a year. I mean, it's difficult to put an exact number on it because we don't know what we don't know. But based on what we can determine from what we have investigated, as I said, and it's growing. 5 years ago, we didn't really see this problem, so now it's $1 million problem, whereas 5 years ago it barely existed. The direct effect is not only does it cost us money, it affects our competitive situation as these pirates or counterfeiters. They don't bear the cost burden that we do in making sure that our products comply with federal regulations, so they can compete against us with a much lower cost structure. Our products sort of set the price level. They come in just slightly underneath us, but because they don't have our cost structure, it's very, very profitable, which is what's driving this business.
So, building off that, Mr. White and Mr. Rubio, how can your companies, with the application of this blockchain technology, help a company that Mr. Chiaviello represents? What can you guys do to combat that counterfeiting of goods?
Well, the platform we're putting together between Maersk and IBM initially is one that helps identify the sources of information. So we use blockchain to help establish who are the. It's a blockchain solution which is permission blockchain, which means that the entities that are involved are known to each other. And if the documents created from origin are sent to anybody else who are a party to that transaction, if any of those documents change, it's immediately identified that the document has been changed. And that could work from a change from when it goes to a customs authority or another government agency, when that's been certified and the document is therefore sent down the path. So the ability to identify any changes in the documentation of what's been shipped or any new entities that are involved in the party is immediately identifiable. So it helps identify the potential risk of fraud, I think, much easier, much earlier, and for everybody involved in that transaction to see when one document is different from what was the rest of the documents that they had seen up to that point.
Mr. Rubio?
Yeah, and what we can envision is an environment where you can have a permissioned network of traders. And in this permissioned network of traders, you can have the different actors in the supply chain exchanging information. And as they exchange information, fraud can immediately be detected via the technology. And then those that fall outside could be scored negatively and removed from the networks, et cetera. So the technology really lends itself to advancing the intellectual property rights protection, and we see that as a possibility going forward.
And Dr. Maughan, could the DHS potentially leverage this blockchain as a tool to combat the importation of counterfeit goods?
Yes, certainly. In fact, if you look at the Customs and Border Protection, they are just one person or one organization involved in the whole transaction, along with companies like Maersk and UPS and others. And so that's the work we've been looking at is in a pilot phase. How could we use the blockchain technology to detect counterfeit goods more easily? Are you seeing any obstacles that we as a federal government are throwing up in your path to prevent you from using that technology in an efficient and productive way? To date, no. As I pointed out in my testimony, the one area that does concern us is a shortage or a lack of standards. And so we've been focusing on specifications towards that end. And I think when we have a full network of standards that everybody can live by, then I think that will be even more useful for all involved. Thank you, Dr. Maughan. I'll now recognize